Mueller has obtained a warrant for information on these Facebook accounts. And earlier, I spoke with Senator Mark Warner of Virginia, the vice chairman of the Select Committee on Intelligence. I asked him what kinds of information his committee was seeking from Facebook.
Well, Chris, as far back as last winter, we raised concerns that the Russians were using social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter to both advertise, to create fake accounts, to try to drive stories. We've increasingly seen to try to drive people out to rallies and other events. Facebook at first, and this was fairly disappointing, kind of blew off those notions and said that really wasn't happening. We now know for a fact that it has been happening, and what we want to make sure is that Facebook is fully transparent, that they've done a thorough review looking backwards of what all happened, how many accounts that were fake, that were affected by Russia, how much of the ads, what they've reported so far is $100,000 and $150,000 worth of ads. Those were only ads that were paid for in rubles. So the fact is, I think the Russian spy services know how to hide a little better than just using rubles.
Wait a second, is that
like them to go a little deeper?
I don't think I quite realized it. That's the number so the 150,000, which always struck me as a sort of small amount of money if you're going to do this as an enterprise. You're saying that's cordoned off because it was actually paid for in rubles.
That was just paid for in rubles, and what we found so far is that Facebook didn't even take those same accounts and run them and see if they placed other ads, maybe paying in dollars or euros or other currencies. So I don't think they've given us the whole story. And let me just give you another example to give the audience some way to put in perspective. Now, I'll grant before the 2016 elections, this was kind of wild, wild west. Facebook was learning. We were all, I think, seeing these tools being used for the first time in many ways. By the time the French elections came in the spring, Facebook, being more cooperative, working with French authorities, took down, their words, close to 50,000 accounts that were affiliated with Russia. 50,000 in France, much smaller country. So far, Facebook in the United States has only identified 470 accounts that may have been fake accounts that were promoting certain stories or promoting certain interest groups. To me, that, again, just doesn't pass a smell test. Maybe that's correct, but if they did 50,000 in France and only did 470 in America, when in America we've known they've parties, Russia attacked 21 states' electoral systems. I just think there's a lot more questions to be answered, and that's why we're going to have that public hearing come next month.
Do you have more access? Do you have access to more data than we have publicly with respect to Facebook?
I wish I could tell you yes. We do not. I know they're going to come back in shortly. What they did so far was they in effect showed us certain things to the staff and then took those materials away, which again raises questions in my mind, that we may need legislative changes, both in terms of tightening up the restrictions about foreign money flowing in to our elections, but also, I think as an American, if somebody's putting a political ad for me or against me, Americans ought to be able to go and look at that content. That happens on TV, that happens on the radio, that happens on newspaper ads. At this moment in time, that does not happen in social media and in the internet world.
Senator Mark Warner, thank you.